All right, In the City podcast is John, aka Dojo.
It's your boy Ray B. And we're
gonna let you introduce yourself, man.
Please believe it, please. You feel me? Real talk is CO.
The honorable.
If you don't know me, if you don't know me, 10 of your friends do, man. Dez Arnez, what's happening?
Yes,
you know
sir.
What I mean? We talking that shit right now. You believe me?
Got the boy in the building, man.
He's in the building.
So yeah, man, we just gonna start it off with the boy Dez, man. Pretty much just tell us what you got going on right now, man.
Well, what I got going on right now, I got my own podcast. This is actually year 2 of that. What we talking about? So
congrats, by the way.
Yeah,
2
appreciate
years,
it. Appreciate it.
Podcast is not as easy.
It's definitely not easy, man. I've been doing the podcast stuff. You know, I started my first podcast like 06, 07 with my homie Craig. We was doing no bullshit radio.
Okay.
We had a nice little run with that.
Damn,
and yeah. So I was doing it before motherfuckers even had iPods. You feel me? Real talk. So young OG for real. But yeah, I got that going on right now. I'm also on the actual radio on Power 107.5.
Yes, sir.
Sundays, Sunday Funday with Dez Arnez. So I'm actually going on year 4 with that. So lot of trials and tribulations with that, but I'm still standing, and So Classics is still the home team. So I'm still still part of that behind the scenes, okay. And I got some things going on with my homie Jordy. So I got the Animal House hoodie on right now. So we basically really just trying to put a plan together, really just to turn the Dez Arnez brand up. I think it's time. It's been time. I'm long overdue. I'm kind of been on my Bryant shit. When I could be going for 40 every night, but I like to pass a lot. So it's time for me to go for me. So and just just out here working. Hustling. Yeah.
Well, let's go back to 06, 07. How did y'all even start that up?
The podcast. How I started the podcast up was my homie Craig. I met my homie Craig. I did go to college for a year.
Okay.
I went to Central State for a year.
Okay.
And then I just woke up one day and I started doing the math in my head, and I was just like, I'm going to school just to really just to for my for my mom. You know what I'm saying? My mom wanted me to go, and I was like the first one out of my, because I got 3 brothers. I got 2 older brothers and a younger brother. So
okay.
I was the first one to really really take it serious. What really I didn't take it serious, because like I only went to one visit, and that was at Central State. And
like, all right.
yeah, man. So yeah, I went to Central State. A couple of my homies was going there. My homie Dave Davis, my homie Craig Wilkes. They took me down there on an unofficial visit, and I stayed down there with them. Stayed in the dorms, and
okay.
They took me to a couple parties, and I went to the first ever Don Pablo's Icebreaker at Wright State. And it turned me out, and I said, yeah, this is it. This is where I'm going. I'm going to Central State. So I went to Central State, and Craig stayed across the hall from me. So shout out to Gert Griggity. So he stayed across the hall from me at Central State, and my nigga was an interesting dude, man. He used to just come in my dorm. He used to just like if you ever watch Seinfeld, like how Kramer used to just come into Jerry's like apartment.
Yeah,
that's how Craig would do. He would just come in my dorm like that. He would just and my homie Craig, like I definitely salute my homie Craig, because he was ahead of the curve. Like back during the baggy era, he was the only dude wearing fitted clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He wore fitted jeans. He wore fitted jeans. He wore fitted white tees, and I used to call him Pharrell. And we just got cool. And he had this. You know what I'm saying? We just got cool, and he had this old school. He had this old school like Cuddy, and we used to just, we used to just kick it.
Vibe,
yeah, we just got cool. Yeah. Then he took me up to Cleveland for my first time, and then so then after I left Central State after my year, he transferred out and went to Ohio State, and me and him was just kicking it heavy. And then his uncle and his uncle's friend Dante, they was actually doing a podcast called Hip Hop with Kool-Aid, and I always was like trying to get on the radio and stuff.
Good ass name.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, he was doing that. They was doing that, and I was like, damn, man, like Craig, we should like. Me and Craig both wanted to do something like that, so so we talked to him, and they basically helped us set up our first podcast, and then we started doing the No Bullshit Radio, and it was Yeah, we was wild and crazy, man. We was off the hook with it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like because he went to Ohio State, so we used to talk about like a lot of stuff that was going on in the city.
Okay.
We was talking about stuff that went on, like even though I didn't go to Ohio State, and a lot of people thought I did because I was always on the campus. Always on the campus. I've been in every dorm you could think of over there. You know, don't ask me why, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, I was always on the campus. So I was just like, niggas thought I went to Ohio State. I did that for like 4 years. Like literally 4 years I was always on the campus, you know what I'm saying? So and
name out there.
so yeah, we was, you know what I mean? So we was doing that, and then like and it like really the podcast is really kind of how like I got introduced to Deontay. But like one of our biggest episodes was I forget what year, but there was a quarterback, there was a black quarterback out of Ohio State named Antonio Hinton, and he had a situation where I'm going to say allegedly he was soliciting sex, and
Wow. That's crazy.
and so like that episode, like we was like, you know me, y'all know I'm silly, man. So we was like, I was just like, so I had gave him the nickname Tricker Hinton, and we was just clowning about that, like, and that's kind of like so before you can go viral, because Twitter and shit didn't exist back then.
Right.
There was only like Facebook, and you had to have a college email to get on Facebook. So
Damn.
yeah, you know what I mean.
it was
Yeah,
legit.
so that's
how we young niggas.
So that's yeah.
All we had to do was sign up.
Right. Yeah, I know. So I'm kind of showing my age a little bit, but yeah. So I mean, so long story less long. That's pretty much was how we started.
Okay.
Yeah, like no bullshit
sure.
radio. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
I like that. So yeah, man, just growing up, what side of town you grow up on?
North side,
Okay.
north all day.
Yes,
sir,
You know
north
what I'm
side.
saying? So once again, I got 3 brothers. So I got 2 older brothers and then a younger brother, which a lot of people think we twins, but we not. We
definitely thought y'all was.
Twins,
For
bro.
sure.
Yeah, so my my younger brother Pooh, we 2 years apart, and then me and my oldest brother Antoine, we 10 years apart, and then my second oldest brother Sharif, we 5 years apart. So yeah, man, 2-parent household. I know it's kind of rare, but you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
Like it was common for me, and then I didn't really understand it. Like why people will always be like, "Hold up, you live with your mom and dad?"
Same situation.
Yeah,
bro.
like
Yeah,
and they be
damn.
like, "You live with your mom and dad, and all your brothers, y'all all got the same mom and dad." Like I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying. And it didn't really hit me till like my senior year of high school. I was just really understanding like, oh, okay, like a lot of people don't.
Facts.
A lot of people don't have 2-parent households. A lot of people don't even know they dad. You know what I'm saying, and which is sad. But
It's unfortunate.
so I grew up. I grew up in a household full of love. Me and my brothers, we all real tight. We were all real close. Of course we have fights and stuff, but. It
That's
wasn't like
happen.
but it wasn't like some people like really don't be like liking their siblings, and that shit used to be weird to me. Like, and I'll be like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? I love my brother.
Crazy about
Yeah,
like,
right.
damn,
Yeah,
what's going on?
that was that. So yeah.
City League cat, right?
Yeah. I went to Mifflin. A lot of people don't know. Fun fact: I did go to Weststone for a year.
I was about to throw that in there, John. If you didn't
Yeah,
know,
shout
shout
out
out Weststone, bro. Don't forget,
I went to Weststone. Yeah.
Y'all heard it.
My junior year, that's like the lost year for me out of high school, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I said lost year.
He said that was a lost year.
Nah, because like my junior year, I went to Whetstone, but I always ended up at Mifflin every day. So like it was like I didn't go to school.
Like, no.
So it's like I didn't leave the school. So a lot of people
One and
don't
done
know.
for real.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know. Like my junior year, I really went to Whetstone, but
I remember he told me that, bro. I was weak, like, bro.
yeah, but yeah, City League all day. But out of all my brothers, man, like I was the only one that didn't. I didn't play any sports in high school though.
Okay.
I just went in. I was just always a funny, silly dude. Man. I didn't have the love for it like that. Like I could play. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna act like I was the illest. I'm not gonna act like I was super dope or nothing like that. But I could play. But I never took sports serious. You know what I'm saying? So I just knew at an early age, like, I mean, I ain't going to the NBA or nothing like that. And I just always took a love to for music.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And just nightlife partying. Like I was into that early. So
whatever.
Yeah, so it was just like natural. So like as I got older and I got into it, like people wasn't surprised. Like people always knew like Dez, you was always that type of dude. So
yeah. Claude, bro, you got anything?
Yeah, it's definitely, you already know some stuff I want to ask. So Classic, I know you was going in about that a little bit with the podcast. How did you transition into that? Whenever you did, how did that start for you? And you went into the So Classic lane for a little bit. How did you get started with that? And you and Deontay grew that relationship.
Oh, but So Classic?
You said through the podcast,
okay.
I heard you say something about that.
All right.
I never asked you actually working with you how that all happened.
Okay, all right. So this is how it all happened. This is crazy, right? So, and this is the beauty of having brothers. So, my younger brother went to high school with Deontay. So they both went to Eastmore. You know what I'm saying? So Deontay always knew my younger brother. And then when Deontay was in college, my oldest brother Edwin used to cut hair at Colors when they was at the old location. They had an old location on High Street. You used to have to go down in his basement. But so when Deontay was in college, he used to get his hair cut by my brother Edwin. Okay. So fast forward, so when me and Craig was doing the podcast, and when Deontay graduated from Ohio State, and he had his he had got picked up by the Cardinals for a little bit, and he hurt his ankle. So you know what I mean. So he got cut. So when he came back to the city, he started the Kings Road blog. Right, so Kings Road was a blog before it actually became a clothing line. So when he started the Kings Road blog, he was looking for like people to blog and stuff like that. And so there was we had a mutual friend. So this girl that we know, my homegirl Crystal, who actually used to do the podcast with us. Okay. So she basically put Deontay on to the Craig and Dez show, No Bullshit Radio. He liked it, and so he had her basically set up a meeting with me and Craig. So we met Tay at like a Panera Bread in Dublin. And he was just like, yo, man, I like what y'all doing. I got this podcast called Kings Row. I got this blog site called Kings Row. I want y'all to like be on it. He was like, man, I ain't got no money or nothing though, so I can't really pay y'all. But I would love for y'all to be down with it. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then me and Deontay started talking, and he was like, hold up, like, Pooh, that's your brother? I'm like, yeah. And then I don't know how we got to talking about my oldest brother Antoine. He was like, hold up, so it was just like we already had that, like the degrees of separation really wasn't that far or whatever. So. And so that's how that's how I linked up with Tay, was like that, and then I just I never left. What I'm saying? I've just always been down.
Yeah, just talking about the degrees of separation. Man, that's
absolutely,
crazy.
Absolutely. So that's how I got linked up with Tay, and so as time was going on, Tay was making T-shirts too, and he was selling them out his trunk. Right. And when he was when he was doing the Kings Row stuff, I was I would wear them and stuff like that because I was hosting in the clubs and stuff, and he was like trying to look, so he already had the Fly logo, but he actually wanted to change the Fly logo. So I was the one to talk him into not changing the Fly logo because he was actually getting ready to scrap that. And I'm like, nah,
that Fly logo is crazy.
Yeah, so the Fly logo almost got deleted, and I was just like, nah, I tell you, like, you should run with that. You should stay with it. So so that's how he kept the Fly logo for the Kings Row.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. And y'all had a hell of a run over there from going from a smaller shop all the way down to the middle shop, and then going to another location in Dublin to now the newest location.
Yeah. So so like Tay was like 24, 23 when he bought So Classic.
So Classic.
Yeah, so it was just like it was crazy, because like I said, I was rocking with Tay before he even before he even had the idea of even buying So Classic. So he found out that it was up for sale, and him just being a good dude, and he had connections to cats that him playing football, so he had connections with cats that played in the league, and he wrote up a proposal, and he was able to get a couple of homies that was playing in the league to basically front him the cash to get So Classic. So that's how he got So Classic. Yeah,
blessing.
So then he started making it work, and he paid them back, and now we here.
Now you're there. We're definitely doing it, making it happen. Yeah, putting on for the city for
absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely love to have you up here. Shoot, I used to work there, so I was definitely blessed. Honestly, I'm glad we got him up here, bro, because he made a lot happen for just me. Like Dez was pretty much outside of Dan was half the reason why I was able to get on that So Classic. I remember the first time I met Dez, the conversation was just for like an hour, and then he was like, man, I don't really know you, but we've been talking for like an hour, so that kind of, means something in a way. And then next thing you know, it was like, hey, we want to bring you on the family. And
what's up, man?
It opened me up to realize within that year I worked there, and it helped me realize what was going on. So
yeah, man. That's what it's all about, bro. You got to spread that love. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So, just me coming up and doing my different things and stuff like that. Like I said, me being in the nightlife was probably it's like the biggest thing that like why like a lot of people know.
Actually transition to that.
Yeah, we can talk about
your
that.
nightlife.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and just touch on that a little bit and just how you could. That's honestly like something you created for yourself. Bro. You jumped off the porch with that by yourself.
Absolutely.
I don't think nobody really gave you a handout or
show
you the ropes with that. And like nowadays, it's kind of y'all showing us. You did that by yourself. How did you create all that?
All right, so
because it seemed like it was natural. It seemed like it was natural to you, and then you just
10 plus
fell into it.
Maybe longer than that.
Yeah, I've been.
You've been in the game, bro.
Over 10, definitely over 10. Bro. Definitely over 10. I jumped in. I was like 19 when I started. So basically what happened is, like I said, I was going to Central State, and I did my year, and then after the year, I just really started evaluating and just was like looking at, you know what I'm saying, like looking at how much it cost a year to go to Central State, stuff like that. I was still like, I didn't really know like what I wanted to major in, like what I really wanted to do in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, man, I don't want to keep like stretching this out, and then at the end, I'm paying $50,000-$60,000, and I'm working a job that, you feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just decided to I made the choice myself to kind of like drop out of college. So my mom was Saudi, of course, and she was upset. But, I just told her, like, man, you just got to believe me. Like, I'm going to make it work. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to figure it out. So once I left school, I was home. And people already know, like, I was always out anyway. I was always kicking it anyway. But as I was home, I'm like, look, if I'm going to keep going to the club, I got to figure out a way to, like, make this work. I can't just be going to the club.
Yeah, bro. After a while, you start to realize.
You know what I mean? So basically what happened was that a girl I was dating at the time, and then my homie Omar, they was like, yo, it's this DJ. He's looking for a host, and you know what I'm saying, I think I think y'all should link and y'all make it pop. So that DJ was DJ Fundamentals. And so and basically people know, like, I was known for like hosting the talent shows in school and just and like, when I used to go to the teen nights and stuff like that, because that's who really got me into wanting to host clubs. I used to go to these teen nights, DJ Drew and Skip. They used to do these parties at Minsky's at first, and Minsky's is over there. Actually, Minsky's is over there by Confidential. It's over there by Confidential. It's like a little bar. Yeah. So they used to do the team, like they started out there, and back in those days, like, like now the city is not segregated like it used to be. But back in the day, like, you ain't really leave your side of town unless you have family out there, or there was a girl you was messing with or something like that. Like, but other than that, like, if you was a north side dude, you stayed up north. You was out east. You know what I mean? You ain't really like.
That's why people be like, oh yeah, I'm from the west side. Yeah, I'm from the north side. Yeah,
you ain't really mix and mingle like that. And like for real, like, it's crazy, but like you would just inherit it like unnecessary beef just because you went from that side of town, because even to this day you can spot a nigga and be like, he from the east side.
I swear,
like, you can just tell by the side he from the north side. Like, that's just how the city move. Like, you know what I mean? So you could just be on the east side, and they're like, niggas just know, like, oh, he ain't from here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So side of town.
But anyway, so I used to go to the teen nights. I seen Skip. I seen how Skip was just rocking the party, had everybody engaged and stuff like that. And I was just like, when I get older, I want to do that. And I remember one time after a party, I told Skip, like, yo, like basically, like, I'm a end up taking over for you, you know what I'm saying, eventually or whatever. So he was just like, all right, you know what I mean? And so fast forward, like I said, when I dropped out of school, I was home, I was going to the party, I was going out and stuff like that, trying to figure out a way to make it work. Mm-hmm. So they introduced me to DJ Fundamentals. So DJ Fundamentals was like, yo, man, I'm about to start doing these parties. This is back on the first Red Zone before they closed it down and reopened it. They didn't close it down, reopened it a couple times, but the first Red Zone, that's what I'm saying. I've been out here for a long time. I'm a young OG. So the first Red Zone, they was doing they would do little hip hop nights or whatever. So Fundy had a set there, and he was just like, yo, meet me at the club at 9:00 and I'm gonna put you on or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I went in there, bombed. I was just like, he gave me the mic, and I was just like, I just froze because like, you know what I'm saying, like it was different. Like, and when I'm in the neighborhood and stuff like that around people I know, like, it was easy.
It's easy to talk.
But then like when I got in front of all these people that wasn't really familiar with me and stuff, I was just kind of like nervous, like, damn. So so basically I had to so basically Fundy like showed me how to do it, and then what I started doing was is like when I would go to the club, I would watch the host You know what I mean? So like when I would go, so I would go to clubs. I would watch the hosts and see how they interact, see what they say, see how they was doing stuff like that. And I would just take different parts of what they was doing and make it work for me. You know what I'm saying? So then Fundy was able to work out a situation where we started doing these parties out of this. It was a bar called the Cabana, called the Cabana Club. It was on 161. It's actually it was in that little plaza about where the Roosters is. Where the Roosters is.
I think I'm
it's a little ass bar. So we used to be in there. Yeah. So that was like the, you know, so that was like, and mind you, at the time I was 19. Fundy was like 20, 21. So I really wasn't supposed to be in the clubs for real. You know what I'm saying? So how we would get in, because back in those days, like we still had records. So I used to carry the crates in the club. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I would get in. He would be like, all right, carry the crate. I get in, crazy. Be like, all right, you got to just, you know what I mean? You can't run in and out, you know what I'm saying? So I would get there early, so I wouldn't get ID because I'm carrying the crate, and then I would just sit in the corner, and then once the night start, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? So he would give me the mic, but the Cabana Club had worked out had worked out a deal with the radio station. So City was actually the host.
Wow.
Damn.
And I was like, I didn't. So you know, when I got older, I understood how shit worked. But back then, I used to be sorry, like, man, what, like, bro, like they ain't letting me cook, man. This nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So you know, so basically, City would let me warm up or whatever. Like, he wasn't tripped because he's getting paid. You know what I mean? The radio station already, you know, they didn't already make a deal. He getting paid, so he let me do my thing. And then when the club would get cracking, he would just take, and I would be salty, like, damn, I'm just now starting to cook or whatever. And so one night we did. One night it was like a New Year's Eve party. And back then I didn't really drink because I used to be scared. Like, I didn't want to become like addicted to alcohol. Like, I didn't want to be like, damn, like I don't want to be like, damn, I can't host without being drunk. You know what I mean? So back then I didn't really start drinking until I was like 22, 23. Yeah. So I used to I didn't even drink. But that night, you know what I mean? I hit the Henny. You feel what I'm saying? And I hit the Henny, and bruh, I just took off, and City was just like, yo, like, he let me just rock the whole night. He didn't even give a fuck. He was just, you know what I'm saying? And so then from there we graduated, and we was kind of having a conversation earlier, but we was real active in the streets. So, you know, we used to go every week. We was going to like all over the city, hitting cars with flyers. You know what I'm saying? Every bar, every club, west side, east side, so it don't matter. Like, we was passing out flyers to like build up our name. And then, so what the really the making of Dez Arnez was when we started doing Major Woodies or whatever. So how we got to deal with Major Woodies was like, Major Woodies, it was like a private lot, and they used to have security like watch the lot. So you couldn't come and put flyers on them cars unless it was like Major Woody stuff. But we used to always sneak on the lot and hit their cars. We would never get caught. Like, other people would get caught all the time, or they had the cops catch them, like, all right, get off the lot. We never got caught. We always used to be stick and move, be out. So the owner one day, he called, and Fundy had his number on the flyer, so he called Fundy one day like, yo, I want to meet y'all. Like, I don't know how y'all keep getting on my lot, but y'all keep getting on my lot every week, getting these flyers off. I need to see who the people are behind this. So he called Fundy up. So me and Fundy went in there. We had a meeting with the owner, and he was just like, yo, since y'all so persistent, y'all keep getting on my lot, I'm going to give y'all a chance. I'm going to let y'all rock on a Friday night or whatever, right? So we like, all right, cool. And mind you, at the time, like, Major Woodies, and Major Woodies is, I don't know what it is now. Actually, it's like they like rent it out for like weddings and shit now. But it's like in the brewery district. It's behind the Shadow Box Cafe. So behind there is a big ass building. It used to be a big ass club, Major Woodies. You know what I mean? It fit like over 800 people. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was big as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so he gave us the night, and so then we did this party called 100% Swag. We called 100% Swag, and what we used to do was like, hey, so by this time, Facebook didn't open up, so everybody can get on Facebook. You don't got to have a college email or whatever. And so I don't want to say that we created it, but I feel like we was the first people to start the Facebook invite shit.
Okay. The groups.
Yeah, the group. Yeah, groups. Like not the group. You know how you just get like you know how people just like invite before the groups, now you'll just get. So what we would do is, and back then you used to have to click on every name. And you wouldn't know. So we would.
You couldn't group that shit together.
Yeah, so we would click. So we all would log into our pages, and then we created a fundamental page but we would click on, everybody would go through their friends list, and we would just send those invites and stuff. We was going hard, and this was the year that Greg Golden and them was at Ohio State. Yeah. So, and they ended up actually coming to the party or whatever. So basically, first night, bro, sold that bitch out, went crazy, and then we just we had like a 3-year run in there. You know what I'm saying? Like three summers straight, like going crazy. And so that was like the birth of like Dez Arnez, like. And that's how people were like really got to like know who I was.
And it's funny for the people that don't know. That's not his last name.
Yeah.
I remember that used to be. I remember when I first, I was like, bro, is that this thing's last name? What is
going on? You say Dez, they be like Arnez.
Dez, right? Dez Arnez, right? Yeah. I know who that is.
Yeah. Nah, that's not my last name. It's a nickname that actually I hated at first, but I ran with it. So my real name is Valdez Scales. And my nickname, like my family, like nobody, like none of my family calls me Dez or Valdez. They call me Desi. You know what I'm saying? So like Desi is my nickname.
Yep. And called you that.
Yeah. So like all my brothers, my mom, my dad, like everybody called me like, and people that grew up with me in the neighborhood, they all call me Desi. And so the Dez Arnez came was so actually there was an older dude in the neighborhood, my homie Bob Stills. He used to call me Dez Arnez Jenkins III, and I hated it. Hated it. Like, used to run home crying. Like, that's not my name. Used to be mad, right? Yeah. But So as I got older, so then like and this was like when I was like in elementary school. So then like when I got to like high school. So when I got to high school, one day I was watching Nick at Night. And I Love Lucy. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So it's a black and white. It's like a black and white.
Yeah, I know. I Love Lucy.
Yeah, I Love Lucy is like a black and white sitcom, right? And so her love interest, his name was Dez Arnez. So
damn,
I was like, oh
yeah.
So that's where he got Dez Arnez from, right?
I never knew that.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Crazy.
So I found that out. I'm like, oh, that's raw.
That's how actually hard.
So I was like, I'm gonna run with it, but I used to be scared. I didn't want to use it, right? So my senior year of high school,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, that's hard. I'm gonna run with that. So my senior year of high school, it was this girl I was dating at the time. I bought her a card, and I wrote at the end, I will love Dez Arnez, and so she was like, Dez Arnez. That's cute. Didn't look back. Didn't look back. Didn't look back.
They got the coast
look
on.
back. Right. So then after that, I just kept running with Dez Arnez, and then when I got on with the club shit, I was like, Dez Arnez. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like it's a catchy name. It clicked.
Yeah,
so that's the birth. That's the birth of Dez Arnez. Yeah.
That's crazy.
As far as like your effort that you was putting in, you know, as far as like putting the cards all on the cards, you think promoters and hosts and all of that doing that now? You think they would?
Nah. I mean, because now,
but it's easy. I feel like it's easier.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy now. Like social media is the gift and the curse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the good thing about social media is you can connect with people from all over the world. You know what I mean? You could be right here and you could be talking to somebody in Texas, right? You know what I mean? So that's the dope thing about it is like it's easier to get in contact and stuff like that with people that you might
not put in as much legwork.
You might not have seen without technology now. But the lost art form, and like I said, we was having this conversation before the cameras came on. Is like I feel like people don't people don't want to still put in that grind. People people
can't
don't
forget your roots.
Yeah,
man.
people don't get out there and touch the people and talk and really network and stuff like that. And I feel like if you got to have both. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people with 10,000 followers on Instagram, but they go outside and motherfuckers don't know who they is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
And you think because you got 10,000 followers, you host a party and
right.
And
they got 10,000 followers and they can't get 50 people to come to the club, right? Yep. You know what I'm saying? But then you got this dude that might have 2,000. Right,
but he
can get 100.
Making it happen.
You know what I'm saying? Like he can get 100, 150 people to come pull up. You know what I'm saying? And that's and I feel like a lot of times the difference is like that person is still out in the streets. He's still connected. He's still, he's working in the social media and he's still working the streets. And I feel like, that's one thing that I always like still do even to this day. Like I'm still out here and I'm not trying to be I never want to be the old nigga trying to be young, you know what I'm saying? But you still got to be connected. You still got to be, you still got to be in the know or whatever. And that's one thing I always try to do is still be in touch with what's going on out here. You know what I'm saying? Like everything may not be for me. And a lot of stuff I might not really be like like that's not what I'm into right now, but I respect it. Like I see this.
You
is
always
what
gotta support something.
I see this is what y'all doing right now, and I respect it. Yeah. So, so to answer your question, Dojo, no, I don't feel like people are still putting in that effort.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, but like I was saying, it is a lot easier. But with social media, I think it's just it's real weird because people do get those big heads and they think that they can do,
for sure,
a million things that they can't, and they don't want to put in that work. So I think that's the curse of it.
Yeah,
that they don't want to put in that work. And
absolutely,
everything just gets handed to them.
Yeah,
but
one thing I did want to bring up and actually ask, we should have probably asked it at the beginning, but it's probably something we're gonna ask everybody that comes on, man. Just until we can get over it. Kobe Bryant. What, you know what I'm saying? How did you feel about that? What was something he did for you, man? Because even though you didn't play sports, you were heavily involved.
I mean,
you know, sports like the back of your hand. You play. From the conversations we had to going out. Now you do sporting events and you're there, and like I remember you came to Afrocentric and supported us, but you was with the radio. So like speak on what Kobe did for you just as a person, and even though you didn't really play a sport, how he helped change your life.
Well, I mean basketball. Basketball is still one of my first loves. You know what I'm saying? So I love basketball. Coming up as when I was younger, I played.
Don't know the ape.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I played at Northeast Rec, and I played a little AAU and stuff like that back in the day or whatever. But so I always loved basketball, always in tune with basketball. And when I was younger, it took me to get older to really like respect Kobe's game, right? So when I was younger, because I'm a Knicks fan, and so I used to just like I don't know why I just didn't fuck with Kobe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it probably was just as we are now. We think stuff is too flashy. Probably the way he was doing, you probably like, man, what is this nigga doing?
It was just, you got to think like, well, now with social media stuff like that, like you get to like kind of like dive in and know the players, right? Yeah, back in the day, like you ain't like unless there was
watching the game. Actually, you couldn't really,
or unless there was a player like really only the players with like personalities really like did interviews and stuff like that, right? So you don't really get to get all this behind the scenes stuff that you get now with these players or whatever. So and Kobe was that player where he didn't really do a lot of press and stuff like that. He really just let his game do the talking. You know what I'm saying? So when I got older, I really started like, damn, or I really started respecting Kobe's game. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was younger, I used to feel like, man, this nigga trying to be like Jordan, man. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Because that's the that's comparison he got.
But then when I got older and started really going back and watching the old games and it's like, and still then like watching Kobe play as a older adult, I'm like, nah, Kobe raw. You know what I'm saying? And so and then when he retired, I was just like, damn, man, I wish I would have appreciated him more while he was still playing. So when everything happened, it just messed me up because it was such a like random, like mind you, I had just finished my shift at the radio station when it happened. Like sit as my last break at the radio station, I got the text from my homies like Kobe just died, and I'm like, shut up, man, Kobe ain't died, bro. You know what I mean? Right. And then they like TMZ reported. I'm like, man, TMZ killed Lil Wayne 5 times, so I ain't.
Swear, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
that's a good one.
Everybody referenced that, bro. Like, man, they said
everybody like, man, TMZ accurate.
I'm like, nah, TMZ killed Lil Wayne 5 times, so I don't know. I need to see a couple more credible sources before I run with it, man. So it really just messed me up. And then like to find out later on that his daughter was on the helicopter and and there was other people aboard or whatever like that. And it just like it really just kind of hit me like, damn, like we really be taking this life stuff for granted. Like tomorrow ain't promised. Kobe was 41.
Yep.
Kobe was only 41 when he passed, bro. And he was really just starting to like come into his like. Me personally, I feel like he was
coming out of his shell.
Yeah, I feel like he was really embracing the retirement, embracing being that guy. Like I'm done with the game, and really like giving back and paying it forward.
Like everybody say they post
paying it forward. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like so it just hurt to like hear that because you never want to. I mean, you never want to see anybody die, and like to have like an iconic figure like Kobe just like to pass and just it be a tragedy. It just something that was unexpected. It was just like it messed me up. It messed me up. Like I felt like one of my family members died. Like real talk.
And it woke you up. I think it woke all of us up. Me and John was actually talking to Meech about it last week, and it just woke everybody up to just realize like life is important regardless of what you're going through or how you see it. Hey, Claude, right now. You know what you're doing? I know. I was doing a lawyer. My fault, lawyer. However you take it, you just gotta respect what you're going through and just know it's gonna be all right because like we say every time you always hear at any given moment. We cannot be here tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And that's what's up, bro. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, just now back to the podcast and how kind of how that started. Well, not how it started, but now on
this podcast.
What we talking about.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is how What We Talking About came about. My whole time at 107, we had kept going through different program directors. So when I first got hired on, my homie Bink, Big Bink, he hired me on or whatever. And like right when shit was clicking with Bink left. He went to Indianapolis. So then we got another program director, Bill Black. And so when he came in, he kind of he had his own agenda, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't a part of the agenda, you know what I'm saying? So I just started seeing, like, because when Bink was on, I worked from one night a week to, I was doing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I was doing 3 nights a week. And then when Bill came, I went from 3 to 2, 2 to 1. Then shit was just getting different over there or whatever, right? Okay. And so then, and I was just getting frustrated, and I was getting to a point where I was just like, I was about to just quit doing all that shit. I didn't want to do the radio. I didn't want to do no podcast. I was just about to just like, man, I'm about to just work a 9 to 5 and just say fuck everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? And people was just like, nah, Dez, you can't do that. Like, that ain't you. Like, you got to be out. You got to keep doing your thing. And so then, I was talking to my homie Jordy. And Jordy was like, bro, like, you got to get back to being Dez. Like, you got to get back in the streets and just heat the streets up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So then I started just looking at the situation at the radio station, like I tell people, it's like getting a record deal, right? You know what I'm saying? So, I was in the streets. I was doing my thing with the, with the mixtapes or whatever, right? I built this buzz. A lot of people mess with me. And then, Then I got the deal. And then, the label was shelving me.
And that's how a lot of artists is now.
Yeah, so like, so the label was like shelving me, man. So I was just like, and I was trying to figure it out. So I started getting back out in the streets or whatever. And then I came up with the idea, like, look. So I hit my homies up. So I hit Trav up. I hit my homie Reese. I hit my homie Blaze, who all do What We Talking About with me. I'm like, look, man, I got this idea. Let's bring the podcast back with us 4. We're gonna call it What We Talking About, and here's how we're gonna do it. So at this time, I'm working nights at the radio station on Sunday. So I'm like, look, after my shift on Sunday, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the back door. I'm gonna let y'all in. We're gonna record in one of these studios that they don't use, and we're gonna do videotape it. And mind you, we don't have to do that because all of our equipment is portable. So we was already doing. We could record anywhere. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, nah, I want to do this on purpose because I kind of wanted to show them, like, yo, like y'all sleeping. You know what I mean? Like if y'all let me cook, I can cook. So I was like, so my homie Blaze was like, man, you sure you want to do this, man? I don't want you to lose your job or whatever. I'm just like, nah, we good. I'm like, I want them to see this. So we purposely videotaped it, and I will put the clips out. And really, it took them, I said, if we do what we're supposed to do, by the time they find out, once they kick us out the radio station, it don't matter. We're going to already be hot, right? So we did like 4 or 5 episodes, and then the assistant program director called me in and was just like, yeah, we see you doing this show at the station. You bring your people in. You got to stop. But it was too late by that time. It was already popping. You know what I'm saying? And so we just stopped recording at the station, and then we was just doing our thing. So really what it was like the motivation of like feeling like they didn't appreciate, they weren't really rocking with me.
Right.
And that really was just like the motive for me to like really get out here and cook and just like, man, you can't wait for nobody to give you nothing. Like you gotta go take it. You know what I'm saying? Even when you in a good position, right? Like you can't stop grinding. You gotta keep working, like, you gotta stay hungry.
For sure. Because just like you got it, you can lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. So that's basically how What We Talking About came about. Okay. And we just kept cooking, and we started doing so then we started doing like live shows.
I was just about to ask about that.
Yeah.
Live first shows. Live show, like, how was that, man? Because obviously us being young and watching you and watching all your work, that's something we want to be able to do. So how was that?
So our first live show, we did it at the Toy Barn in Dublin. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So basically,
that was crazy.
Yeah. So basically,
the Toy Barn is crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, just to have that.
Right. Yeah. So how we what we did was my homie Reese, he actually has a homie that worked at the Toy Barn or whatever.
Gotcha.
And because Reese was like who really put the battery in our back, like, yo, we gotta start doing live shows. And we was kind of scared. We was like, man, I don't know if people really rock with us like that. And we was trying to do it on a smaller scale. He like, nah, fuck that. We got to do it big. Like, I got a homie that work at the Toy Barn. We can go do it at the Toy Barn. They with it. And I was like, man, you think people gonna come all the way out to Dublin to come see us or whatever? And he like, bro, we got to do it. So we went out there. We met with them. They rock with us. They was like, yeah, y'all can come through and do it. And so we came through or whatever. And then we hollered at Late Night Slice. So they sponsored us with like a couple of pieces. And then our homegirl Ash, she works for she got a connection. She doesn't work for him, but she got a connection with Flow Vodka. So we got a couple bottles of Flow Vodka.
Yeah, that's what's up,
and that was kind of like one of my plays I wanted to put into effect. I'm like, yo, let's try to like link up with like a liquor brand or whatever, and like Flow Vodka, with them being based out of Ohio and they black owned. I'm like, every episode I was just shouting out Flow Vodka, like Flow Vodka, Flow Vodka, Flow Vodka, Flow Vodka, and they was hearing it, and we'll talk about that later. But anyway, So we did the first live show was at the Toy Barn, and we had probably like 50 people come out. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, that's more than that's a lot.
And everybody was like, and everybody messed with it, and everybody messed with it. So then going forward after that, it just we just kept staying consistent with the show, and really big salute to my man Blaze, because like first when we was doing the podcast, we was doing like twice a week.
Okay.
And then he was like, man, y'all gotta do a show every week. You know what I mean? That's how y'all gonna really build your fan base up. And we like, man, you think? And like once we start doing weekly, that's what really like helped us.
They wanted to know what.
So for a year straight, we was dropping a show every Sunday. We probably for that year we probably missed maybe 2 shows, and that's because like somebody might have been out of town or something like that. So I mean that's really like how that came about.
That's what's up, man. So speak about the other side of podcasting. Like even like the hard part, the good side, the bad side, like all of that. If you want,
man. So
because before you speak on it, where a lot of people I see now that we're into this lane, and I kind of, because he the one who kind of got me to realize, because this ain't something I really do. So just now you seeing it, I think everybody really think it's easy.
Not at all.
And just because you know how to speak doesn't mean you know how to keep people tuned in.
Absolutely.
What's going on.
Absolutely.
So, like he said, like speak to the people on the good, the bad, what grind and effort it actually take, because it is a grind. You don't just come up here and just talk.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
it ain't that simple.
Well, I'm in a blessed situation because I got 3 other partners, right?
Right.
So I'm able to bounce ideas off of 3 other people. And the good thing about us is we're a self-contained unit, so we do everything ourselves. You know what I mean? Yep. So like our homie Blaze, he's the engineer. He does the mixing and mastering. All of our equipment is portable, so like I said, we can record anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like we can come in right now and record it. Do a show here. And the good thing about what we do is like we're all friends, so we've all known each other for years. You know what I'm saying? So it's just an organic feel. You know what I mean? And we all just naturally have our roles, and it's not like okay, you're gonna be this guy, you're gonna be that guy. Right. We just all have different personalities, and it just meshes. And so the grind, and like I said, consistency is the number one thing. It's not gonna come overnight.
Right.
It's gonna take a while to kind of build that fan base up. It's also gonna kind of like take a while for you to like find your niche, find your lane. You know what I mean? Because like when we first was doing the podcast, we kind of went from being like a music podcast, and then we just kind of turned into like what I feel like we're kind of like.
Pop culture.
Yeah, we're like a we're like
all
a pop
around,
culture.
You can't put a tag on it.
Absolutely. So we I like to call it like barbershop talk. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
so that's what it is. It's like recorded barbershop talk. So we talk about everything from sports to current events to music everything. To whatever's going viral on the internet, whatever. We talk about everything. The hard part is, like I said, is finding somebody that can do all the behind the scenes stuff. You know what I mean? So like I said, I'm in a blessed situation because we, Blaze does basically the audio stuff. Reese is basically like making his own flyers. Trav is doing the write-ups and reaching out to people. And then like with me, just having different connections and being connected to a lot of different people in the city. I just use my face card and my years of just out here networking to kind of like connect the piece, connect the dots or whatever. You know what I mean? So so we're kind of in a different situation than like most people. But like Claude was saying, people feel like everybody feel like, okay, I'm just gonna start a podcast. Yeah. But a lot of people don't know, all right, well, how do you get your podcast feed to Spotify? How you get it on SoundCloud? How you get it on iTunes? You know what I mean? How do you promote it? You know what I mean? Like, do you know do you have the means to really put money behind your stuff?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and because you got it, you have to invest in yourself.
You gotta invest.
You got, you know what I mean? And luckily we've been able to like work situations out. And once again, the good thing is it's 4 of us. So, you know, it's not so much money. It's not so much money coming out of one person's pocket. You know, we're able to come together and make stuff shake. And like I said, man, you gotta stick with it because, you know, at first we wasn't really getting like a whole bunch of listens like that, and it can be discouraging. You know, you look at your numbers like, damn,
that sucks,
ain't nobody really listening to us. But like, you got to just stay in people's face. And one thing that I always, you know, me being in the situation that I'm in, like, I'm always kind of out, even when I don't want to be out. You know what I mean? Right. So it's just like, so it's like people is just like is able to put it like, oh, you know what I'm saying, you Dez Arnez, like, oh, listen to the podcast, and then like our stuff just kind of been growing because we stay consistent and we've been able to just really it's crazy because we have a large female fan base, like most of our listeners is females.
Okay.
And they help spread the word a lot.
I was about to say, females
they help spread the word a lot. You know what I mean? Sure. And so and I always ask them like, why do y'all listen to us? And they just be like, they feel like they get like inside of being at the barbershop without being at the barbershop.
Right. It's always,
you know what I mean?
Perspective and you know, we ask you all these questions because it just, you know, at some point you gotta give teaching points because people don't never really understand what's going on.
Because even us, like we still we starting off, we still
learning. I seen y'all. Like I remember y'all first put it up. I feel like I was like one of the first people to follow the page. I was like, oh, that's dope. I was surprised. I'm like, Claude. I'm like, Claude ain't really like that dude. Like unless you know him, like when you get to know Claude is hilarious. But if you don't know Claude, he's super quiet, super reserved. You feel me? And the same thing with Dojo. So I was surprised. I was just like, yeah.
It was like one of them things that kind of, you was just like, bro, we know, like you say, you for the city, when you for the people so much, you just understand it. Just like, there's something you can do that don't feel like, okay, we're trying to get from them or we're trying to go behind them. You can just try to create your own lane and, you know, start it. That's why I said we, you know, respect you so much in what you do in your craft. And like, even with that, like, even like the promoting side of things, because you really don't do it as much, but like, even that, like, I feel like people need to kind of hear about that too, and just how you was able to make that a thing for yourself too. Because I said I don't mean to be that guy, but people try to make everything seem easy. Like if you go,
you pissed
because it's just like when you actually get out there and do it, you understand it and you see it, and you able to be like, okay, now I see what Big Bro's talking about. It's not as easy as it makes.
It's not,
bro. It's not easy.
It's not.
All.
It's exhausting.
You can have all the followers in the world. You can have everything. You can get all the love. We could walk outside and 10 niggas could dap us up. Nobody they gonna come to your party.
Look, we will tell them 10 niggas, hey bro, come.
You know what I'm saying? One's gonna come. So it's just like for the young people that's listening that kind of need to hear this for whatever they doing, just in life in general. If you whatever you doing, from clothing to anything. What is something you can give them to just get them to realize is just like
words of advice.
Words of advice, bro, because they it's needed. I feel like there's like a gap between taking advice from the older and understanding it.
Absolutely.
Besides feeling like y'all pushing down, because it's that gap between the older generation and the younger, because they always like, man, the old nigga always trying to tell me something. Like I can't do it, and it's not about that.
Everybody wants to skip to the finish line.
Exactly. Everybody wants that. That's perfect. Though.
Absolutely.
Skip to the finish line.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, a lot of stuff that I see people doing, like when it comes to like parties and the podcast and stuff like that, like I feel like I feel like I'm a pioneer to a lot of this shit. You know what I mean? And I took a lot of
on it because you will go on the limb to say that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like you know what I mean? And I feel like I took a lot of the Hov did that. So hopefully you won't have to go through that. You know what I'm saying? So like real talk, man. Like ladies love Lonnie. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my little man. It's like I love Lonnie to death. I see a lot of me in him. Yeah. And and Lonnie will tell you, like I always like just try to give Lonnie jewels and stuff like that. And just when I see dope people doing dope stuff, I just try to tell them. So like you're going to go through a lot of bullshit. Especially this nightlife shit. You're going to get jerked. You're going to go through a lot of bullshit. You're going to it's going to be a lot of for a minute now. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but what I try to tell people, especially with people with large followings and people that got shit cracking, you got to know your worth, right? And sometimes it might hurt. It might take for you to take that L and say, you know what, I'm not going to do this because I'm not. Why settle for less? Mm-hmm. Because what happens is a lot of times is a lot of these club owners, and a lot of the promoters, right? Like they try to. What I see a lot going on is. I like to call it 360 deals, right? So what I see going on a lot is I see a lot of young lit dudes with the influence and shit like that. Because at the end of the day, all these club owners, promoters, shit, they old, right? They older, like they need y'all. They need y'all. Y'all don't need them. Y'all only need them for the venue,
just for the spot.
But if y'all bring the people, the people ain't coming to see them. The people don't even know a lot of these people that's behind the scenes, right? Mm-hmm. So what happens is I see y'all create these situations. I see y'all get it lit, right? And then what the clubs start doing is they start doing bullshit deals, right? You know what I mean? They put y'all in a bullshit deal, or what they start doing is they start coming up short with the money. They start trying to like renege on shit. You know what I mean? They just start doing a lot of bullshit because a lot of these deals is done on handshakes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not really coming in. Y'all not coming in there with no real contracts, right? You know what I'm saying? So what I try to tell people is like, once you get the first instance of that, what you got to do is you can't keep going, because if you keep going, it's gonna be hard for you to pull away from the situation. You know what I'm saying? So once you get the first instance of that, you got to have that conversation. Like, look, this is what it is. I can't budge. It's either we doing this or we gotta grow. Yep. But everybody has to stick together, right? Mm-hmm. And what happens a lot of times is like I see a crew of young niggas go in together, right? The bad deal happens. 2 people want to leave. Let's say it's 4. 2 people want to leave. The other 2 people want to stay and continue to take the bad deal. Mm-hmm. So now you lost the leverage. So the 2 people that left. It got y'all looking crazy, right? Mm-hmm. And it got them going, and they like, well, fuck it, you know what I mean? And they doing it for the clout, they doing it for all that, but fuck all that. Like, if the business ain't right, you gotta once the people take back over the powers that be ain't gonna have no choice but to conform.
Damn.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But that's the problem. Is like what happens is, or if people do walk away, there's always that thirsty person that's like, oh, okay, well, I'll do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you fighting for your 100, and then the motherfucker, oh, he want 100, I'll do it for 50. Everybody lost now. Everybody lost now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like so what people gotta understand is like, man, like fuck that clout shit. Fuck like until we start taking back over the power, it's gonna always be this bullshit going on. You know what I'm saying? Because they need us, we don't need them. Because I mean, yeah, they provide the venue, but shit, you can create a vibe anywhere. You can create a vibe anywhere. Now you might not be able to generate the income and stuff like that like you want. You know what I'm saying? But now what's going on is what I'm seeing going on is people want the vibe. So now people are more in tune to going to an intimate setting than even going to the club. The club ain't even lit no more for real.
It's just all about where can you create that vibe.
Yeah, the club ain't even lit no more for real. Like, and that's the reason why places like R bars.
I was just about to say R bar.
R bars winning because it's set up like it's an intimate setting, right?
Good music.
First of all, they winning because there's no cover. So we got to look at the demographic of the city, right? We got to look at the people. We got to look at the average person that's going out. The average person that's going out in the city is what? I would say anywhere between 23 to 27. Yep. That's like going out on a consistent basis. Yep. When you look at that average margin, those people barely make $30,000 a year. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, this is real talk. This is real talk because a lot of these people are in school or just not graduating school, right? Yeah. So, okay. So if you put that into equation, right? You go to the club. If you got to pay $20 to get into the club,
boom,
right? You want a drink. The average bar drink is probably gonna cost you $9 on the low side.
Right, I was about to say, I said good 12.
At 30,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So now, if you had to pay the 20, and that's going early, right? Don't let it be a lit night. Early. Don't let it be a lit night. Don't let Lil Durk be in that motherfucker. Right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Don't let NBA Youngboy be in that bitch. It's 100 for general admission. And you gotta wait in line. And it's cold. And it's raining. You know what I'm saying? And you just spent $200 for the fit. You feel what I'm saying?
Just bought the outfit.
You know what I mean? Hey. So you know what I mean? So you like, man. So you like fuck. And then you go into the club. Shit. You ain't lit because you ain't in a section. You ain't lit.
Right.
Why I'm gonna talk to you? Why I'm gonna talk to you? You're not in a section. You can't get me drunk. Where the dollars at? You know what I'm saying? Bro, where the dollars at? I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Right. So now you like fuck. You know what I mean? Especially as a male, like, bro. It's so much, like, we got to spend so much money just to have a lit night. You be like, man, fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? So now, okay. So we're going to say it's a regular night. You got to pay like $20 to get in. You going to want to drink. Chick, the DMs you've been in, right? You see her. You want to buy her a drink?
In. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe two.
Yeah.
Maybe two if you feeling good. Hey, the bonus check hit. All right, I got 2 for her. You know what I'm saying?
Bonus check.
Bro, so you've been in the club for 45 minutes. You already a 60 ball in on a light night.
Right.
That's a light night.
That's a regular
It's a light night. It's a light night. You know what I'm saying? And so it's Friday. You ain't even reached Saturday. You ain't kicked Saturday the kick it day. This is Friday.
Saturday is the best. This is probably the best day.
You ain't even reached real kick it day. Yep. Kick it day in the city is Saturday. You feel what I'm saying? So now you trying to do this Friday and Saturday, and you trying to do this, 2 or 3 days. I mean, two or three weeks out the month,
and you don't get paid till next Friday.
You feel me? Yep. That shit dead. You know what I'm saying? So. Okay, so then when you go to a place like All Bar, right? There's no cover, so now you already feeling good.
Like you like
shit.
That's the number one question. I would have already
been 30. I would have been on a light night. I already been $30 out since I walked up these steps on a light night. You know what I mean? At anybody else? So now I'm in the All Bar. I had to pay.
Oh, I'm cool.
Nothing.
Nigga, hey, we about to get lit.
Guess what our 20 going?
Right. Yeah, the first 20 going to that bar.
We can put all this together.
But that first 20 going to that bar. Yep. That first one, you done bought yourself 2 drinks.
Yep.
I'm only a dub in. I done bought myself 2 drinks. The liquor hitting in now.
I'm about to say that our bar, shout out to them.
Heavy
on the liquor.
The Henny goggles get activated. Oh, there she go.
Oh, she looking good.
Oh,
she looking a lot better.
Oh, there she go.
Oh, she looking a lot better now.
The Henny goggles get activated. Oh, there she go. It's pull up time. What you want? Make it a double. You feel what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Hell no, you can't get no double at our bar.
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? But you see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying is this like so now it's like that's why places like that are winning in the city is because because you spend all that money to go to the club and then a lot of times you go to the club it's not even lit. Like everybody standing around, everybody staring, everybody think they lit, everybody think everybody trying to be in a section, everybody on their phones all day. Yeah, it's just like
music week.
The energy bad.
Music week.
The energy bad. You like, damn, why this nigga money me? I don't even know, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
And all you do is just bring the vibe to the party.
I don't even know, Stallion. This nigga trying to fight you. Like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
He hear big old freak come on like, I'm trying to work.
Yeah, you feel me? Like, you just chilling with your homie. You just chilling. Like, shit. All right, let me try to hit the walls like the moon a little bit. This nigga still like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Nigga straight face. Nah, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm
stand over there real tough to a slow song.
You know what I mean?
Like.
So is this so many different dynamics that goes on with the nightlife? It's like you ain't trying to be bothered with that. And so as far as like the club aspect, I feel like, and like I said, our bar, it's a bar, it's a neighborhood bar, but it gives you like that house party vibe.
Yeah,
and it's always
bro.
a good time in there.
That's crazy. It is that house party.
So I mean, so our bar, y'all owe me. I'm giving y'all a crazy plug right now.
Shout out to our bar.
But I'm just giving y'all like the different
dynamics. Show in there soon?
And I'm seeing how the energy is shifting in the city, and and I see why our bar is winning is because it's an inviting place, right? You feel welcome there, right?
Everybody cool in there, chilling.
A lot of these clubs, you be like, man, security on the bullshit. It's so much bullshit you go through. You be like, man, fuck this place, bro.
And that just happened to me Saturday, trying to get the homies in. I'm like, bro, they would be. You know what I mean?
Right. And mind you, I'm not shitting on no club or nothing like that. I'm just keeping it 100% true. Like
you gotta talk your talk, bro.
This is what the average consumer. This is how I'm speaking for the average consumer. I'm saying what the average consumer want to say that doesn't have a voice. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what I've been trying to fight for years with a lot of these places. Is like, yo, like we gotta create vibes. Now I get it, right? You're in the business of making money, right? You know what I'm saying? So we all are. But I just feel like a lot of these clubs and shit like that, like y'all not letting the influencers and the creators really come in there and cook and create the vibe because y'all gonna win anyway. Y'all got the bar. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Y'all gonna win anyway.
Literally.
Yeah, y'all got the bar. So like,
y'all got,
so sometimes you can't be so thirsty about trying to get that dollar at the door in the bar, and you got to just let that vibe come through. And then eventually what's going to happen is people going to continue to come back. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to mind paying. Like, you wouldn't mind paying the 20 if you know it's going to be lit.
Man,
but if you're going to hold the door on me, and then when I get in that bitch, it's empty. Right. And I get in that bitch and the DJ's weak. And I get in that bitch and everything is just wet. You like, bro, why did I even come? I done wasted the fit. I got to delete all the pictures off IG because
I got to run this back. I'm running this back.
I got to run this fit back.
I'm running this back.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like, I feel like we got to get back to creating vibes, and then and you'll see the nightlife thriving again, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Hey, I seen you tweet something, man. You was talking about some songs that need to die in the club, man.
yeah, man.
Talk about it, though, Joe. Talk about
listen,
it,
man. And I know a lot of DJ homies got mad, and I know some people might have felt.
But this is why you need. This is for all the viewers. This is why Dez Arnez is here, because he talked that talk, and this is what we talk about.
Listen, man. And once again, I'm not trying to attack nobody. I don't feel like I know it or nothing like that. But
of course, man.
But like once again, I've been doing this for a very long time, and and I still kick it, man. I'm like I'm like Diddy out here, you know what I'm saying? I'm still very in tune with what's cracking, you know what I'm saying? I'm still out here. You feel me? But now, real talk. So when I go to the clubs now, when I go to the club, I'm not the average consumer, because like I know I've been behind both sides, right? I know what it is to throw a party, and I know what it is to just come to a party. So when I go to the party, I watch, I study. So I see like how the people are interacting, how the people are moving. I see the vibes. I'm seeing how the bar's moving. I'm just watching pieces that the average person won't watch, right? Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times what goes on, I just feel like DJ wise, like a lot of the DJs, it's crazy to me. Like a lot of them are still playing songs that was pop. Like some of y'all DJs wasn't even outside when these songs was even going on. Like a lot of these songs is I was really outside when the song first dropped, and it's just like, it's 2020. There's no way you was outside. You know what I mean? Like you're 23. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. You know what I mean? And so I get it, right? The number one complaint I hear a lot of DJs say, a lot of people say is, oh, people in clubs, all they like is old music. Not necessarily. Now, I'm not saying you got to go into the club and just play new songs all day, right? But I shouldn't know your set. I shouldn't be, okay, here comes Gucci Mane Trap House, okay? Here come Fuck Them Other Niggas. Here comes They Know. Here comes, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's like this is the same set that's been going on.
One new song, back to the
you know what I'm saying? And then if you get a new song, that's what I'm saying, like. You know,
and they newest song be like a year ago,
right? Like their newest song might be a 2014, 15. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Their newest song might be Young Dolph Preach. Might be the newest,
right? All night, though. All night.
You need to go.
You feel me? So it's just like, and I just feel like where we at now and today is way too much music. Is way too much access to get to the new music. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be all the now. Some of them old songs like. You know you're going to get a reaction, right? You know you're going to get a movement, and I'm not against that. But I'm tired of going to the club, bro. Lately, when I've been going to the club, I haven't even been hearing no Drake, and I feel like that's preposterous, bro. Oh, like, how are you not playing Drake? How are you not playing Drake?
Facts. I easily one of the biggest.
Why am I going to the club and I'm not hearing anything off the Young Thug Just Fun album? Not one song. Bro. How am I in the club? I'm not hearing no Gunna. Not one Gunna, not even Top Off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, you feel me? Damn. So
I didn't even think about that.
You know what's crazy? Side note is that's why I don't think what's the name get as much love as he should, even though he is, because we're around the younger crowd. But Love Dragon, he don't get enough love because he plays so much new stuff and he try to keep people in tune. Mm-hmm. They hate him. Like, I'll walk around and be like, bro, this DJ ain't this, DJ ain't that. But it's like he gives you what you want, but then when he go back to what should be played in the club, you don't like it.
Yeah. So it's like, and I get it, right? I understand. And like DJs, I understand. It is a struggle. You know,
right.
But
we not the DJ. So
exactly.
It's definitely two sides to this.
But I feel like what you have to do is, but also too, I feel like a lot of DJs they don't gauge the crowd.
Right? This is the ones that care about their craft.
I feel like a lot of DJs they already come in there with a set playlist that they're gonna play, and they not watching and seeing like, okay, this ain't really connected. Let me do this.
They just press play.
They just letting the records ring. Now I understand, like, if you're a guest DJ, like, you don't have like you're not in a spot like on a weekly basis. I understand, like, you might be a little reluctant to play new records. You know what I'm saying? Man. But I feel like if you have a weekly night. the only way them new records are going to connect is you got to force them. You got to keep playing it. You got to create that familiarity. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you got to, because that's how record broke back when I was like really first started. Like, you got to think about, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these records that get they wasn't radio records. Yeah, you feel me? But it's like they constantly kept paying them. So
facts. Bro, definitely. I'm glad we opened that up, because that's what, that's what sometimes we need to hear, the goods and the bads, and what people should work on, because that's what always happens. Yeah, people get too caught up in themselves and too much on what they already got popping and not realizing life ain't gonna stop. Everything gonna keep moving. So you gotta always be willing to grow. Yeah. Like me and John talk about that a lot. And I don't have all the answers. I ain't mean to cut you off, Club, but I don't have all the answers. I just want to make that clear. I don't want people to
they ain't gonna get mad and shit.
I'm just giving my perspective, my opinion, and
but when you and
it's a lot easier when you actually went out there and did it, because a lot of people that have these opinions that feel like they should be entitled to something, they don't go out there and get outside. Yeah. They're not outside. They're saying this from their phone.
Facts.
They go to 1 or 2 parties, or they come to 1 or 2 events, and then they sit in the crib and complain. Mm-hmm. It's like, you're not really out here. Yeah. So it's just like, how much can you complain if you're not really out here doing what you're supposed to do? So it's like the people that do say something or always got something to say about anything is just like, you ask a question, what have you done?
Absolutely, and I'm getting back into it. Y'all gonna see a lot more of me this year. Okay. And I still, I was still doing little stuff here and there over the years, but I'm about to get back into
it. The Dez Arnez brand, it should have been from when I first was able to get under your wing and see what was going on. It should have been a thing, bro.
Yeah, it's just, man. I just got this. It's like this, like complex I kind of got with myself. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. For some reason, I have this like reserved side to me where it's like, I be feeling like I don't want to like rub people, like I be afraid. I don't want to say be afraid, but I don't be want to be me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I kind of be like walking on eggshells and kind of reserving it. And like now 2020, I'm just like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I got to be me.
Right. Facts.
And then man, to be honest, I just want to know if you got anything, man, that you want to like plug in. Anything you got going on right now? Like any event, any type of anything, man?
Well, I mean, what we talking about, podcast, definitely go check that out. We drop every week. We have an anniversary. We got an anniversary show. We putting together. So we trying to do, but we are doing. Yeah. So we put an anniversary show together. We doing our podcast and chills events that we was doing last year. So that's coming real soon too. I'll put the details out for that.
Got you.
And yeah, man, I'm about to get back and still being me, get into my funny shit. I think I'm gonna do another little mixtape like I did a couple of years. Back in the day, I did a Nike Hennessy and Women with Craig. Stupid Fruity Hookah. That's still a cult classic. Still a cult classic. So you know what I mean. I'm on my solo shit. So I'm about to drop some Lil Duval type records. And just being me, man. Staying lit. Yeah,
that's good to hear, man. We definitely had a. Good talk today, man.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Shout out to Dez, man, for coming out here.
Absolutely.
One thing we just gonna have you do is sign on the table.
Oh, right no doubt.
So can you pass that?
Definitely have him do it real quick while we on here. Shout out to what he got going on.
And this was In the City podcast. It's John, aka Dojo.
It's your boy Ray B.